First place Saskatoon Berries playing host to a team that's above 500 from the West Division tonight. Good evening, I'm Les Lazaruk here at Next Gen Patch at Cairns Field. The 13-2 Berries take on the 9-6 Sylvan Gulls. The Gulls tied for second in the West Division, a very tight West Division at the top of the standings, as it is Okotoks in the lead at 10-6, and then Lethbridge and Sylvan Lake tied for second with 9-6 records. The Gulls have won 3 in a row. They're 7-3 on the road, and last year against the Berries, 2 games in Sylvan Lake, these teams split. The Berries are 13-2. They're first in the East Division and lead the division by 3 games over Medicine Hat. 6 straight wins for the Berries, a perfect 8-0 here at Next Gen Patch at Cairns Field. Diego Quinones is ready to go on the mound. He's the starting pitcher tonight for Saskatoon, and his first pitch is down low to Noah Konings, the center fielder for the Sylvan Lake Gulls, as we're underway at 7:01 on a nice Tuesday evening. Hit in the air to right field, shallow right. Ethan Murdoch coming in. Camp Dundrit makes the catch, and we've got one away in the top of the first inning. As mentioned, it's a nice night. We had some rain come through around 5:30, 5:45 on our way to the ballpark here. But as of right now, let's see if we can get an update here from Environment Canada. We've got 21 degrees. This is still from about half an hour ago. 21 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy skies. Winds out of the east at 4 kilometers per hour. Looks like they've moved up a little bit, so we'll get a further update on the weather shortly. But left-handed hitting Simon Baker for the Gulls up now, and Diego Quinones in with a strike. Quinones is making his 3rd start on the season for the Saskatoon Berries. He has no decisions as of yet, as this is fouled back to the screen, and strike 2 on Simon Baker. Baker hitting .283 early in the year, 15 hits and 53 at-bats. Quinones on the outside corner, strike 3 called by home plate umpire and crew chief Phil McGee. That's 2 away. Baker not happy with the strike call. McGee is the home plate umpire, and I mentioned the crew chief. Matt Schul is the first base umpire, and down the third base line, it's Scott Mills. Bryce Turner, the first baseman, coming to the plate. Turner hitting .333, 10 hits and 30 at-bats on the early season for him. Quinones backs him off the plate, ball 1. Diego Quinones, as I mentioned, making his 3rd start of the season. Deals, and that's inside, 2-0. No decisions as of yet for Diego, a 1.28 earned run average. 7 innings pitched. He's allowed 4 hits, 2 runs, only 1 earned, 5 strikeouts and 4 walks. Upstairs, 3-0. Quinones has been on a pitch count. Was a reliever throughout his season in college ball as he came off his senior year at Weber International. 3-0 pitch is inside. That's a 4-pitch walk. Bryce Turner gets first base. And it'll bring up the cleanup hitter, the designated hitter, Brock Tiarena. Tiarena is listed as an outfielder, but he's a designated hitter tonight out of Andrews, Texas. Went to school this past winter at Lubbock Christian University. Left-handed hitter. Quinones on the outside, ball 1. Through 3 straight strikes to Simon Baker. Walked Turner on 4 pitches and now falls behind 1-0 against Tiarena. Quinones out of the stretch. This one's in there for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Tiarena is 11 for 39 early in the season, .282 average. A home run and 7 runs batted in. Quinones with a 1-1 delivery upcoming. Long look back, checking. Delivers outside, 2-1. Bryce Hampton, the shortstop, is on deck. Hampton, one of the hotter hitters for Sylvan Lake of late, on a 7-game hitting streak coming into tonight. Hoping to get a chance here in the top of the first inning. Get Sylvan Lake going in the right direction. This on the ground towards second, fielded by Abia Medina on to first baseman Ethan Menard, and that's the end of the inning. So in the top of the first for Sylvan Lake, no runs on no hits, no Barry's errors, and 1 runner left on base. After a half an inning, it's Sylvan Lake nothing, and the Saskatoon Berries coming to bat as you're watching Berries baseball on FloCollege.
When it's right, like quick like that in the beginning.
Okay.
After when you do the other stuff, it's because I'm ready.
Yeah.
But that was fast.
Sorry.
I'm just watching too many things at once. It's probably why. Okay, 2, 1.
Dylan Meitner, left-hander on the mound for the Sylvan Lake Gulls. He'll pitch to the Saskatoon Berries in the bottom of the first inning. Berries will send up Ethan Menard, Carter Beck, and Ethan Murdoch. First baseman Menard, Beck in center field, Murdoch in right field as per usual. Defensively for Sylvan Lake, around the outfield, in right field it's Matty Fung, center fielder is Noah Konings, and the left fielder Simon Baker, and around the infield from left to right, Brooks Bachman is the third baseman, shortstop Bryce Hampton, second baseman Jaden Flores, and the first baseman is Bryce Turner. Cam McLeod is the catcher, and again, Dylan Meitner is the starting pitcher. Meitner is making his 4th appearance and his 3rd start. He has 2 losses on the season, a 7.94 earned run average. He's pitched 11 1/3 innings, allowed 17 hits, 15 runs, 10 of them earned, struck out 11 and walked 4. So Dylan Meitner out of Vancouver, BC, not Washington. There is a Vancouver in the state of Washington, just north of Portland, which of course is in Oregon. Yes, at border towns. Meitner out of UBC is where he played his winter ball, facing Ethan Menard. And first pitch strike called by Phil McGee, the home plate umpire. Menard, 7th game since returning from the University of Texas at Tyler, team that went to the College World Series. On the outside corner again, strike 2, 2 old balls and 2 strikes. Meitner off to a good start against the young man from Opelousas, Louisiana. 2 strikes, fouled off up over the first base bleachers. Stays alive at 2 strikes. Menard hitting .458, doesn't quite yet qualify for the batting title. Strike 3 called, a curveball, and home plate umpire McGee thought about that for a second and then rings him up for the first out. So it'll bring up the left-handed hitting center fielder Carter Beck, like Menard, into his 2nd season in the Western Canadian Baseball League and with the Saskatoon Berries. Beck, after coming into last season with the Berries, was playing at the University of Marion Bismarck. And this past year, as he takes a strike, breaking ball on the outside corner from Meitner. Beck attended Indiana State University this past winter Had a good year there in Division One ball. Again, a breaking pitch in there for a strike. Meitner's just hammering the strike zone early here. 5 pitches, 5 strikes so far. Barry's going to have to get their hitting shoes on against this guy. He seems to be around the plate. 2-strike pitch upcoming. He got to back off on that one as that one was down and away. Ball 1. The old waste pitch. Try and get into chase. Beck disciplined enough not to do that. Cardiff, Saskatchewan product hitting .429, which is tied for third best in the WCBL coming into tonight. Ooh, that one looked pretty good. It's a ball, 2-2. Beck ready to go again. Meitner on the mound. Shakes off. Has what he wants from catcher Cam McLeod. It's curved ball line. Short hop, knocked down by the second baseman and throw on to first in plenty of time to get back. Jaden Flores with the sunglasses on decided to short hop that, knock it down, and still able to make the play as we got 2 away in the bottom of the first inning and bring up Ethan Murdoch, the right fielder out of Swift Current. Murdoch leads the Western Canadian Baseball League with 5 home runs in the early season. First pitch inside, ball 1. Tied for third with his 20 runs batted in. Tied for fourth in the league in runs scored with 17. And fourth in the league in walks with 17. Did not walk in this time. Bouncing ball to third. Picked up on the edge of the infield grass by the third baseman, Brooks Bachman, and he'll throw him out for a 1-2-3 bottom of the first inning. No runs, no hits, no Sylvan Lake errors, nobody left. After 1 inning complete here at Next Gen Patch at Cairns Field, scoreless between the Sylvan Lake Gulls and the Saskatoon Berries as you're watching Berries baseball on FloCollege. Steve, you've become a member of the Berry Bunch. Yes, sir. You don't know who I am, but you knew my brother, Murray Lindbergh. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. You guys were pretty tight back then. Sure. Yeah, back in the day, sure. Yeah, absolutely. In 2000, that's when he passed away. Yeah, I know. Sorry about that. No, that's fine. Yeah. I was there that night to present the trophy. Yes. That very first night. Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah. Well, good to see you. Yeah, you betcha. It's been a long time. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I'm just the wife.
She has the most important job. She looks after the cameras and everything. Perfect. And keeps me in line. She has control of my microphone. She can turn me off at any point. 5 seconds. No delays. That's only for boots and salutes. Thank goodness. Top of the second inning upcoming. Scoreless. Sylvan Lake Gulls and the Saskatoon Berries. It'll be Bryce Hampton, the shortstop, Cam McLeod, the catcher, and Brooks Bachman, the third baseman, coming up for Sylvan Lake against Diego Quinones, who calls Las Cruces, New Mexico home. First pitch down and in to Hampton. Mentioned Bryce Hampton in the last half inning, or the last inning. On a bit of a tear, 7-game hitting streak, 9 for 28, just under .333 in that time. Right-handed hitter. Up and in a little, 2-0. Hampton hitting .341 now because of that 7-game hitting streak. 14 hits and 41 at-bats. Quinones, this one's hit in the air to right field. Murdoch will come over towards the line and make the catch, and there is one away. Bring up the catcher, Cam McLeod. McLeod hasn't played a lot early this season for the Sylvan Lake Gulls. Playing in just the 9th game. Gulls are playing in their 16th game, just like the Berries are. 5 for 19 at the plate with 9 runs scored. Strike called. First pitch to the catcher. McLeod from North Vancouver, BC. Attended school this past winter at Cloud County Community College. He lifts one into shallow center field. Beck started back, now has to come on, and will get there to make the catch, and there's 2 away. So third baseman Brooks Bachman will come to the plate. Bachman with a .217 average coming into the game. A home run and 6 runs batted in. Left-handed hitting third baseman out of San Diego. Went to college this past winter at Colorado Mesa University. First pitch on the outside corner for a strike from Bachman. Quinones ready to go. 1 strike pitch. Looked pretty close to being the same spot, but ruled outside, 1-1. Defensively for the Berries, right fielder is Ethan Murdoch, center fielder Carter Beck, left fielder is Jalen Freeman. 1-1 pitch is down low, 2-1. Round the infield from left to right, the third baseman is Mason Rell, shortstop Nathan Houston, second baseman Abiam Medina, and the first baseman is Ethan Menard. Balin Sorensen is calling the game for Diego Quinones, who has a 2-1 count here. And this is lined into center field, and there's our first base hit of the ball game as Bachman, 3 for 13 in his last 4 games, gets a solid rip up the middle. So it's bat runner on first. The number 8 hitter is the second baseman Jaden Flores. Flores out of Dallas, Texas. Just in case there's another Dallas out there somewhere, we'll make it pretty plain that he is from Dallas, Texas. Attended Texas Southern University in the wintertime. Fouls the first pitch back to the screen, strike 1. We're nicely underway in the top of the second inning here at Next Gen Patch at Cairns Field. At the airport, they're calling it mostly cloudy skies. I kind of like it here the way it is, sky-wise. Partly cloudy, I would call it. There's a pitch on the inside corner, strike 2 to Flores. 22 degrees Celsius, east wind at 7 kilometers per hour. Flags above the right field scoreboard, barely moving. Gorgeous night for baseball. Get them in while we can. The weekend doesn't look very good. Eugh. Hopefully Environment Canada is dead wrong about what they're saying, as that pitch is up and in, and ducking out of the way of Jaden Flores, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Basically all they say for Saturday and Sunday is rain. 18 on Saturday, 12 on Sunday. Actually, they say periods of rain. Maybe the periods will be around the ball games. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Curve ball lifted in the air. Coming over is to catch it on the fly is the second baseman, Abiam Medina. And that is the end of the inning. For Sylvan Lake in the top of the second inning, 1 hit, 1 runner left on base, no Berries errors. We have played an inning and a half with no score between the Sylvan Lake Gulls and the Saskatoon Berries, as you're watching Berries baseball on FloCollege. So bottom of the second inning, and the Saskatoon Berries will try to get a base runner on base against Dylan Meitner for the first time. Meitner went through the first inning, 1, 2, 3, struck out a batter, only used 10 pitches to get through 3 outs on 3 batters, and he'll face the cleanup man Mason Rell, second baseman ABM Medina, and the shortstop Nathan Houston. For sure he'll face them here in the bottom of the second. Mason Rell coming in with a .316 average, 12 hits and 38 at-bats, a home run and 10 RBI. Meitner, left-handed thrower. First pitch down low, ball 1. Meitner, 6'1", 180 pounds. Brings it pretty good, though, as he does there on the outside corner, 1-1. Rell on a 4-game hitting streak. A hit in each of the last 4 games, but he's 4 for 18 in that time, which is only .222, and hence the average has come down a touch. Fouls one off at the plate. Curveball, 1-2. Medina on deck retrieves the foul ball and tosses it back towards the Berries dugout. Meitner ready to go. 1-2 pitch, bounces it in, ball 2, 2-2. Again, the Saskatoon Berries have won all 8 games so far here at Next Gen Patch at Cairns Field. How long does that streak continue? Line drive into right center field. That'll split the outfielders and make its way not quite to the warning track. Boy, that grass must be long out there for it to just die out there like that. But a solid double for Mason Rell to lead off the bottom of the second inning. It'll bring up ABM Medina, Barry's second baseman, who is number 2 in the league in batting average at .444. 16 hits and 36 at-bats for the product of Ponce, Puerto Rico. Left-hand hitter against left-handed pitcher. And he'll bunt down the third baseline. Third baseman wants to let it go, thinking it'll go foul. It doesn't. Into third is Rell, and Medina is on with a bunt single. Third baseman Brooks Bachman took a chance there, thinking maybe that ball with the spin might spin foul, and it didn't. It got pretty much to the bag. And Rell luckily was able to get there before the ball did and be safe. So first and third with nobody out, and shortstop Nathan Houston at the plate. He shows bunt. It's up high, ball 1. Houston has a few sacrifices already this year. He's also a .300 hitter. 18 hits and 60 at-bats for the Melville, Saskatchewan product. Meitner deals, foul back to the screen. 1 ball, 1 strike. Medina at first. And Mason Rell at third. Houston has 9 runs batted in. He'd like to make it 10 here right now. Chops it towards third base, and it is foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Nathan Houston looking to get the Berries on top, give them the lead first tonight. 1-2 pitch. Inside. A check and appeal at first, and safe sign given by the first base umpire, Matt Schul. So 2-2 is the count. Houston, who played his college ball at Louisiana Tech University, doesn't get a pitch there as it's a toss over to first to check on Medina. Aby and Medina with two stolen bases and yet to be caught. 2-2 the count. Nothing happening. Houston fouls it up and out of play and into the first base bleachers. Count remains 2-2. Corey Waters, the designated hitter, on deck. Waters, one of the 7 from Saskatoon and among the 15 from Saskatchewan on the Berries roster for head coach Joe Carnahan. On the ground to short. Bobbled, and now the only play is to first, and they just get Houston at first base as Mason Rell scores on the play. That was a tailor-made double play ball, but the shortstop, Hampton, bobbled it and then only had the one play to make, and that was on Houston at first base. So Medina advances to second. It is indeed the 10th RBI of the year for Nathan Houston as the Berries go out in front by a score of 1-0. First pitch to Corey Waters is upstairs, ball 1. 5 Berries players in the lineup tonight. Saw action with this franchise last year in their initial season in the Western Canadian Baseball League. Corey Waters, one of them. Off to a better start at the plate this year, coming off his sophomore year at Winthrop University. Big long look, Meitner at second at Medina, and finally delivers, and Waters fouls it up over the first base bleachers. Strike 2. Sorry, 1-1 is the count. Meitner ready to go again. One away. Bottom of the second. On the ground to third. Off the glove of the third baseman into shallow left field. Medina will scamper on to third, and Waters reaches on what I have to think would be an error on that play, as the third baseman, Brooks Bachman, could not come up with the ball. It was hit just off to his left. He stuck the glove out and had to go off the thumb of it and on into shallow left field. So now Balin Sorensen, the catcher, coming to the plate. Sorensen wants to get that bat going. He's been dropped to the number 8 spot in the order, which matches his uniform number. Maybe there's some kismet there. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Sorensen from Monroe, Louisiana, coming off his senior year at Southern Louisiana University. 1 strike pitch. Down and in, ball 1. Meitner in a bit of a jam here, giving up a run already. Couple of hits, first 2 of the game for the Berries here in the bottom of the second. 1 away is the situation. This is lined into left center field and down for a base hit. Medina will score. Waters is heading for third and is going to have the stop sign put up. Sorensen into second as the center fielder bobbles the ball out there, so it'll be a single and an error, and Waters around to third base. Medina comes in to score on this run-scoring single by Balin Sorensen to make it 2-0. And Sorensen into second base because of the error. So up comes Jalen Freeman, the left fielder. Left-handed hitting Freeman. Looks at a strike. Only the third baseman, Bachman, is playing even with the bag or at the edge of the infield grass, so they're prepared at short, second, and first to give up a run as the pitch down and away, and a good block by catcher McLeod. 1 ball, 1 strike. You're good. 1 ball, 1 strike on Jalen Freeman. Meitner again having to battle here. Freeman on a 3-game hitting streak. Looks at a pitch outside, 2-1. The RBI for Sorensen is his 9th of the year. The hit is his 12th of the season. I'd like to improve on that average. That will help get it going in the right direction. Freeman fouls that off. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Top of the order, Ethan Menard is on deck. He'll get a little wind sprint in, chasing down the foul ball, which was on the Sylvan Lake side of home plate at foul ground. 2-2 on Jalen Freeman. Again, the infield still away with the third baseman in and everybody else back. Freeman fouls it off again. That was on the inside corner, and he fought that off to stay alive at 2-2. Freeman out of Houston. Played his college ball this past winter at Eastern New Mexico. I've started to do some extra searches on these guys as that pitch is down low and a full count. Jalen's played in a few schools. 24-year-old. When I finally get that all put together, I don't know if it'll be in time for tomorrow night. Certainly after this series, we'll have a dossier on everybody. You'll have all kinds of little facts. As there's ball 4 down and away, and a walk to Jalen Freeman to load the bases. Freeman came into the game tied for 8th in the WCBL in walks with 11, and we've got a visit coming out to the mound here from one of the coaches from the Sylvan Lake Gulls, not listed on their roster who that person is, so the unknown coach he'll have to go by as far as I'm concerned for tonight. But Meitner had a very good first inning, 3 up, 3 down, and now here in the bottom of the second, 3 hits, couple of errors, a walk, only 1 out, bases loaded for Ethan Menard, who quite frankly lives for these situations. He struck out against Meitner the first time up. Let's see what he learned in this at-bat. On the ground, up the middle, taken by the shortstop, shoveled to second for 1. On to first in time, double play to get out of the inning. Ethan Menard bounces into a 6-4-3 double play to end the bottom of the second inning. But the Berries do score 2 runs on 3 hits. There were 2 Sylvan Lake errors and 3 runners left on base. Through 2 complete here at the Next Gen Patch at Cairns Field. It is the Saskatoon Berries 2, the Sylvan Lake Gulls no score. You're watching Berries baseball on FloCollege. Diego Quinones has been staked to a 2-0 lead as he comes back out to pitch the top of the third inning for the Saskatoon Berries. Quinones will face the number 9 hitter Matty Fung, and then back to the top of the order for Noah Konings and Simon Baker. Sylvan Lake comes into the game tonight hitting .278 as a team, 6th best in the Western Canadian Baseball League. They have a team OPS, or on-base percentage plus slugging percentage, of .841, which is 5th best. 19 home runs, which tops the league, and 22 stolen bases, which is 8th in the WCBL. So Matty Fung to the plate, hitting 100, 2 for 20, but he's 2 for 8 in his last 4 games. So he's starting to find the mark, and the first pitch by Diego Quinones is outside, ball 1. Fung is from Foster City, California. Outside again, 2-0. Fung went to the University of San Francisco this past winter. 5'9", 170-pound utility player from the looks of it, because they've got him listed under others on the roster. The only other on the roster. Up high to Fung, 3-0 from Quinones. Fung with a big 3-0 count. Let's see if he's taking, and he does. Strike 1. As I said, unless you're really trusted by the head coach or manager of your team, at this level of ball, you're taking 3-0 all the way. And he'll get a walk here now as that pitch up high. And so Fung is on. At the top of the order, Noah Konings, who flew out to right field the first time up, back to lead off this game just after 7 o'clock. Konings is hitting .306 coming into tonight. 19 for 63 now. His 62 at-bats coming into the game was tied for the 9th most in the WCBL. Quinones with Fung on first. And first pitch swinging, popped up in the middle infield. Between first and second making the catch is ABM Medina. And quickly, the Gulls have one away. It'll bring up the left fielder Simon Baker, a left-handed hitter. Baker, his first time up, struck out against Quinones. The only strikeout so far in the game for Quinones. He has a strikeout and a couple of walks. Has had a base runner on in each of the 3 innings now. On the ground, nice play by Menard, tacks first, throw on to second. They got him, double play. Houston with a good spear of a low throw, short hopped it, grabbed and put the tag on Fung just as he arrived at second base. And that is a double play, so each team now has pulled one in the first 2.5 innings of play. The hit by Baker to first base, speared by Menard, who was coming off the bag and then had to go back to his left and was practically at the bag to record the second out. And then the throw on to second base, and of course the tag had to be applied because the force was taken off by tagging the base by Menard. So essentially 3 up, 3 down, no runners left on base, no Barry's errors. After 2.5, it is Saskatoon 2, Sylvan Lake no score. You're watching Barry's Baseball on FloCollege. Coming up, bottom of the third inning for the Saskatoon Berries, it'll be the numbers 2, 3, and 4 hitters in the lineup. Carter Beck will lead it off, center fielder, then the right fielder Ethan Murdoch, and the third baseman Mason Rell. Beck grounded out to second his first time up. Left-hand hitting center fielder out of Cardiff, Saskatchewan. And that one's just outside, ball one. First pitch from the Sylvan Lake starting pitcher Dylan Meitner. Meitner ready to go again. Curved ball lined into right field, base hit. Over to cut it off. Beck's going to try for two. He will get in there, slides in. Good hustle by Beck. He saw that the right fielder had to go deep into the hole, into the gap in right center field to field that, and on the backhand, and he just kept on moving and got into second base. So a leadoff double for Carter Beck. And Beck with his third double of the season. Now it's Ethan Murdoch, the right fielder, who grounded out to third base his first time and gets hit by the pitch. That one kept moving in on him. He tried to move the arms out of the way and still got plunked. So runners on first and second with nobody out, and Mason Rell, who started the two-run second inning rally for the Saskatoon Berries, with a leadoff double. Dylan Meitner getting himself into a quick hole here. Two men on, nobody out. And Rell, who has extended his hitting streak to 5 games. Checking on Beck at second. Pitch up high, it'll get all the way to the backstop. Beck over to third base, Murdoch to second on the wild pitch. 1 ball, no strikes. So now runners in scoring position and a base open. Meitner going to have to bear down for Sylvan Lake if he's to get out of this unscathed. Down low, good block by Cam McLeod, 2-0. A.B. and Medina, the second baseman, on deck. Rell also scored after doubling to lead off the second inning. He scored the first run of the ball game on Nathan Houston's ground out. 2-0 pitch on the ground. That'll get between third and short. Beck will score. Murdoch had to wait to make sure that the ball wasn't fielded. He'll move up 90 feet to third base, and it's now 3-0 for the Saskatoon Berries as Mason Rell has his 11th run batted in. And up comes A.B. and Medina. Singled and scored in the second inning, extended his hitting streak to 4 games, during which he's 8 for 13. Swings and fouls the first pitch back for a strike. Veteran team, the Berries. Older team. I wouldn't call them not necessarily veteran. These are new guys here. And Murdoch, Rell, Medina, Houston, who's on deck, new to the Western Canadian Baseball League. As there's a strike on the outside corner, 0-2 quickly on A.B. and Medina. But again, a lot of guys who are coming off their senior years of university or college or whatever the case may be. Post-secondary education, if you will. 2 strikes. Curveball popped up. Playable possibly towards first base, and no, that'll get its way into the first base bleachers about 4 or 5 rows up. Medina stays alive, 0-2. 3-0 the Berries lead. They have a run in. Nobody out. Runners on first and third. Ethan Murdoch, the runner at third. Mason Rell, who just singled and drove in Carter Beck with the third Berries run, is on first base. Dylan Meitner. Swing and a miss by Medina, and there's the first out. Second strikeout for Meitner of the evening. Issued a walk and has a hit batsman. That being Ethan Murdoch, who's on third base right now. Nathan Houston drove in the first run with a ground out to the shortstop. Shortstop Hampton, as that pitches up and away, ball one. Bryce Hampton, the shortstop for Sylvan Lake, had a chance to turn a double play with Houston's ground ball, but bobbled it, making the exchange from glove to hand, and ended up having to throw out Houston while Mason Rell scored the game's first run. Now he'll hit one down the right field line, slicing. Fung will make the catch. Easily coming in to score from third base is Ethan Murdoch to make it 4-0, and Rell advances after the catch to second. So a sacrifice fly to right field by Nathan Houston, and he has his second RBI of the game and 11th of the season. Makes it 4-0. Rell to second base. He's the only runner on base now as Corey Waters comes up. Waters reached on an error his first time up. Saskatoon product. Looks at a pitch down and in, a curveball, ball one.
We only have two. Where's the 5 points up there? Okay.
Waters, 1-0 pitch upcoming to him. Hitting .415. Line drive up the middle, base hit. Turning third and coming home is Mason Rell. Now it's 5-0. And now the throw to second base, and Waters makes it in as the ball was cut off before it got to home. And a relay throw to second base. Short hops the second baseman. So Waters is safe on the advance. And an RBI for Waters, his 16th of the year, as he came into the game tied for 9th in the league in that department. Rell scores. It's 5-0 now for the Berries as they put together 3 hits in this inning. Balin Sorensen now the hitter. Sorensen singled and drove in the Berries' second run last inning. First pitch curveball in for a strike. No action down the left field line in the Sylvan Lake bullpen as of yet. Dylan Meitner had a tremendous first inning, 3 up, 3 down, but he's had troubles here in both the second and third. Low and away, ball one with a breaking pitch. Jalen Freeman on deck for the Berries. Sorensen, one of 5 players in the roster tonight for the Berries in their second season with the team. 1-1 pitch, fouled off. That's up over the first base bleachers. Another play, 1-2. Balin Sorensen at the plate. Corey Waters on second. 2 away here in the bottom of the third inning. Up and away, ball 2, 2-2. Lights are on here at Next Gen Patch at Cairns Field. They have been probably since game time. Allows people to get used to the lights, even though it's still pretty decent daylight out, and stays that way till almost 9:30. On the ground, into the hole, it's short, and it'll get through. Waters turns third, heading for home. Here's the throw home, play at the plate, and they'll tag him out. Left fielder was playing shallow, Simon Baker. He came up gunning, and this toss to home plate, Cam McLeod got it in plenty of time, put the tag on Waters for the third out to finish off the bottom of the third inning. But the Berries score 3 times on 4 hits. There were no Sylvan Lake errors and 1 runner left on base. So after 3 complete here at Next Gen Patch at Cairns Field, it is the Saskatoon Berries 5, the Sylvan Lake Gulls no score. Your You're watching Barrie's baseball on FloCollege. Let's take a look at the unofficial line score through 3 innings of play here at Next Gen Patch at Cairns Field. For the Saskatoon Berries, 5 runs on 7 hits. They've not committed an error and left 4 runners on base. For the Sylvan Lake Gulls, no runs, 1 hit. They've committed 2 errors. They've left 2 runners on base. As we head to the top of the 4th inning, Diego Quinones is back out there. Unofficially has thrown 33 pitches through 3 innings. He'll face the heart of the Sylvan Lake order. The number 3 hitter, first baseman Bryce Turner, designated hitter Brock Tiarina, and the shortstop Bryce Hampton. Turner walked on 4 pitches back in the 1st inning against Quinones. And that pitch first tip one is in there for a strike. Yeah, they've changed the hometown on the Jumbotron on Diego Quinones. It says on the roster, Las Cruces, New Mexico, on the inside corner with a breaking pitch, strike 2. Let's see here. Quinones, La Cruces, New Mexico, and on the Jumbotron as this one's hit on the ground towards short. Nathan Houston dropped it briefly, throws on the first. Good stretch by Menard to get the out. So Sierra Vista, Arizona is now the hometown of Diego Quinones. So he's not from New Mexico, he's from Arizona. And he likes to have cheesecake on his birthday, according to the Barrie Fun Fact. Right there with you, man. I'm right there with you. Cheesecake, let's go. First pitch swinging on the ground at second baseman Medina, and Brock Tiarina is out for a second time on a grounder to the second baseman Medina. 2 away quickly here in the top of the 4th inning for Sylvan Lake. It'll bring up the shortstop, Bryce Hampton. Hampton flew out to right field, leading off the top of the 2nd inning. And the first pitch hits him on the left arm, which has got that elbow pad or that arm pad. So a runner on first with 2 away. We've had a hit batsman now on each side. So up comes the catcher, Cam McLeod, who was waiting on deck with his shin guards on, and now will doff those and come up to the plate. While Brooks Bachman, the next on-deck hitter, gathers up the protective gear of the base runner, Bryce Hampton. Throw over to first, just back safely, is Hampton. Quinones with a runner on first. 2 away. First pitch inside to Cam McLeod, who flew out to center field his first time up. McLeod comes into the game with hits in 3 straight games. With the out, he's 4 for 10 in 3 games plus. Quinones deals 1-0, curveball in for a strike. 1-1. 5-0 Saskatoon with the lead in the top of the fourth inning here at Next Gen Patch at Cairns Field on a pleasant Tuesday evening. 1-1 pitch popped up in the air. Shallow left field. Coming on is Jalen Freeman. He'll make the catch, and that's the inning. Just the hit batsman for Sylvan Lake left on base. Otherwise, no runs, no hits, and no Barry's errors. So after 3.5, it's Saskatoon 5, Sylvan Lake no score. You're watching Barry's baseball on FloCollege.
Watch that clock.
Mm-hmm.
Your mic's live.
Mm-hmm. Bottom of the fourth inning here at Next Gen Patch at Cairns Field. Saskatoon Berries with a 5-0 lead on the Sylvan Lake Gulls. First of 2 meetings only this season between these teams. Last year they played 2 games in Sylvan Lake in the Berries' first year and split them in mid-July. Sylvan Lake coming through here in mid-June for this series. They'll play again here tomorrow night at 7 o'clock at Next Gen Patch at Cairns Field. And we'll be here, of course, with FloCollege, bringing you the webcast of the game. Jalen Freeman will lead it off. Collected his 12th walk of the season back in the second inning. Left-hand hitter. First pitch is outside. Ball 1. 1-0 the count on Freeman. On the outside corner this time, 1-1. That one looked pretty similar to the previous pitch. Freeman kind of looked back at home plate umpire Phil McGee and okay. 1-1 the count, swung on and missed, 1-2. Starting pitcher for Sylvan Lake, Dylan Meitner, is still out there. 1-2 delivery is low. Breaking pitch, 2-2. Start seeing some folks head down the left field line towards the Sylvan Lake bullpen area. 2-2 pitch. Hit up the middle, off the glove. Meitner will pick up the bounce off the mound and throw Freeman out at first base. One away. Top of the order now, Ethan Menard coming up. For Meitner, that was his 60th pitch of the game unofficially. So I'm not sure what kind of pitch count they may be on, if he is on one. But we do have some personnel for Sylvan Lake down the left field line. They're not throwing or warming up or anything yet. As Menard hammers this one to right field. This one's deep, going back, and you can kiss that baby goodbye. Ethan Menard with his first home run of the season. A shot to right field that just cleared the fence and just underneath the scoreboard here at Next Gen Patch at Cairns Field. 8th hit of the night for the Berries, their 6th run, as Menard gets the fans here at Next Gen Patch at Cairns Field going with that blast. So now Carter Beck, the hitter. Beck doubled and scored in the third inning. Up and in to him, ball one. Beck 1 for 2. Has hits now in 9 of 10 games this season that he's played in. Again, a late arrival as Indiana State was in playoffs. So he and Mason Rell, the third baseman, Zach Laird, the left-handed relief pitcher, all a little late joining the Berries, but they're here now. Berries into their 16th game tonight, and this is Beck's 10th. 1-1 pitch down low, 2-1. Ethan Murdoch, the right fielder, on deck. That home run to right field does nothing but enhance Ethan Menard's popularity with fans here in Saskatoon. As that one low and away, ball 3, 3-1. Still say Ethan could run for mayor and give Cynthia Block a pretty good run for her money. The popularity there. On the ground, up the middle. Taken at shortstop. Nicely done there, and a throw on to first in time to get Carter Beck. 2 away. As the shortstop, Bryce Hampton, with a nice play there. They'll bring up the right fielder, Ethan Murdoch. Grounded out in the first, hit by a pitch, and eventually came around to score the Berries' 4th run back in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Berries tend to bunch them up. Runs, that is. That pitch is down and in, ball 1. Bunch of Berries, you get it? But it's by inning. 2 in the 2nd, 3 in the 3rd, 1 in the 4th. They bunch them all together when they get going with the bats. Fouled back to the screen, 1-1. Opening game of the season in Weyburn, the Berries only had 2 hits in losing 9-0 to the Beavers. 2 for 30 that night officially as a team, 067. They're hitting .323 since then in the last 14 games. As that last pitch is outside, 2-1. And the Berries now score an average of 10 runs per game during that time. In there for a strike at the knees, 2-2. Mason Rell, the third baseman, on deck. Meitner delivers 2-2, swung on and missed, strike 3, and that's the end of the inning. But Ethan Menard with a solo home run, the only hit of the inning for the Berries. No Sylvan Lake errors, nobody left on base. For Meitner, that's his 3rd strikeout in 4 innings of play. And after 4 innings complete now, it is the Saskatoon Berries 6 and the Sylvan Lake Gulls no score. You're watching Berries baseball on FloCollege. Let's take a look out of town tonight in the Western Canadian Baseball League, as there are 4 other games besides this one. Saskatoon Berries leading Sylvan Lake 5-0 heading to the top of the 5th inning. In the top of the 4th, Moose Jaw has a 1-0 lead in Swift Current. Let's go to this window. Brooks and Medicine Hat tied 1-1 in the top of the 3rd. Fort McMurray leads Okotoks 3-0 in the top of the 3rd. Bottom of the 3rd, Energy City leads in Weyburn by a score of 2-0. Diego Quinones' first pitch of the top of the fifth inning is fouled off down the left field side and out of play, strike one. To Brooks Bachman, the third baseman, who has the only Sylvan Lake hit so far in the game. A solid single with 2 out in the second inning. Check swing but called strike by home plate umpire Phil McGee. Two-strike pitch upcoming from Quinones. Lined into left center field. That will get down. Beck will cut it off. Bachman takes a big turn at first base and will return to the bag as he had thoughts of going to second for a double, but he is 2 for 2 on the evening. And on first base to lead off the top of the fifth inning. Speaking of out of town, Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Final is 2 periods done, and the Florida Panthers are 20 minutes away from winning a second straight Stanley Cup as they lead the Edmonton Oilers 3-0 after 40 minutes. Throwing bunt and bunting it back to the screen is Jaden Flores, strike one. Sylvan Lake down 6. Choosing to look at possibly bunting a man over, get something going, positive. That might have been as much trying to bunt for a base hit as it was a sacrifice by Flores, because he really didn't show bunt right away. It came out of nowhere. Now he'll swing away and hit this one into left field, a base hit. Freeman will get it on into the infield. Bachman up to second base, and that's back-to-back singles for Sylvan Lake here to start off the top of the fifth inning. Partly cloudy skies here in Saskatoon on Tuesday evening, 21 degrees Celsius. Wind out of the north at 10 kilometers per hour. Right fielder and number 9 hitter Matty Fung up now. He walked his first time up. Barry's corner infielders are playing in. Menard is on the grass. First pitch is outside, ball one. Down the left field line in the Sylvan Lake bullpen, we have Noah Bourgeois warming up. Quinones sailing along here for the Berries. A foul back to the screen by Matty Fung, 1-1. Fung from Foster City, California. Has a couple of RBI with only the 2 hits that he's had so far this year. 1-1 count upcoming. The pitch from Quinones is fouled back to the screen. 1 ball and 2 strikes. So now the likelihood of the bunt is gone. Although you can't discount it totally, but Menard now is back on the skin of the infield, even at first. Third baseman Mason Rell is back behind the bag a touch. Quinones, a 1-2 pitch with nobody out here and 2 men on. And this is on the ground up the middle. Houston will take it. Step on the bag at second, throw on to first, double play. It's the second one turned by the Berries already in this game. Brooks Bachman comes down to third base. 2 away for the Sylvan Lake Gulls here in the top of the fifth inning. It'll bring back the top of the order and Noah Konings. Konings 0 for 2. First pitch from Quinones. Gets away, and now coming on home. Here's the throw to the plate, and not in time. Making it in is Brooks Bachman with the first Sylvan Lake run, as Sorensen couldn't handle the pitch from Quinones, a ball. And the question now becomes pass ball or wild pitch for the official scorer. We're going to call that a pass ball. which allows the Sylvan Lake Gulls to score their first run. And now Sorensen coming over to the dugout. Wants a different glove, I believe. I didn't see what that was about. Hunched over my scorebook. I tend to do that every once in a while. 1 ball, no strikes on Noah Konings, who's 0 for 2 tonight. Flew out to right in the first inning, popped out the second in the third inning. So, nobody on base now for Sylvan Lake. Quinones will go out of the full windup to Konings. Pitch down low, 2-0. Nobody throwing down the bullpen in the right field side for the Berries. That one's outside, 3-0. Getting an early attendance figure already tonight. 1,155 is the announced crowd. 3-0 pitch is on the inside corner for a strike. Konings thought he had himself a walk on 4 pitches. Two away here in the top of the 5th inning. This one's hit well. Center field, Beck going back at the edge of the warning track, makes the catch to retire the side. But the Sylvan Lake Gulls get a run on 2 hits. No Berries errors, and nobody left on base. After 4.5, we're halfway through. It's the Saskatoon Berries 6, the Sylvan Lake Gulls 1. You're watching Berries baseball on FloCollege.
I'm the worst with names, so I feel that.
So a new pitcher on for the Sylvan Lake Gulls to come on in the bottom of the 5th inning. It'll be Noah Bourgeois coming on. Tell you a little bit more about Noah Bourgeois here in a moment. He's from Surrey, BC. Attended Cloud County Community College like the catcher, Cam McLeod, did. We've got another change, apparently.
On second base.
Let's see.
Pitcher. 44.
Well, no, the pitcher's different, absolutely. So we've got a new right fielder, apparently. Let's see here. Aiden Macaris is into the ball game in right field. I'm not sure for who, if it's just a straight move with Matty Fung or not. Mason Rell is the leadoff hitter for the Saskatoon Berries against Noah Bourgeois, leading off the bottom of the 5th inning. Down low, ball 1, the first pitch from Noah Bourgeois. Bourgeois making his 4th appearance of the season, all in relief. Up high, ball 2, 2-0. Bourgeois has a win to his credit, a 5.58 earned run average. Has pitched 9 2/3 innings, allowed 10 hits, 6 runs all earned. Up high in the strike zone to Mason Rell, 2-1. Bourgeois with 12 strikeouts and 3 walks in 9 2/3 innings. So he is a swing and miss type of pitcher. Fouled off by Rell, and that one will get up and out of play and over top of the whole building. 2-2 the count. Dylan Meitner, the starter for Sylvan Lake, pitches 4 innings. Up high, full count now to Mason Rell. Three and two the count. And inside, ball 4, as Rell has been on base all 3 times. 2 for 2, double scored in the second, singled and scored in the third. Now draws a leadoff walk here in the 5th inning as Abian Medina comes up, the second baseman. Medina with a single and scored in the 2nd inning, struck out in the 3rd. All 6 runs allowed by Dylan Meitner are earned. On the ground by Medina. It's fielded at first. The throw to second for 1. Back to first base. Not in time. Medina able to beat the relay throw at first base. Rell is out. Medina on a fielder's choice. And there's one away. So Nathan Houston now. He's driven in 2 runs tonight without the benefit of a base hit. A ground out in the 2nd inning brought home a run, and a sacrifice fly in the 3rd also bringing home a run as he looks at a first pitch ball. 1-0 the count. Houston with hits in 4 of the last 5 games. A throw on over to first by Noah Bourgeois to check on Abian Medina. Down low, just low, 2-0 the count to Nathan Houston. Meitner had 3 strikeouts, 1 walk, and he hit a batter in his 4 innings. Outside, 3-0. .30 pitch is on the inside corner for a strike. Houston trying to make it look like it was inside by kind of squirming out of the way, but it's 3-1. Corey Waters, the DH for the Berries, on deck. 1 away here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Inside this time, ball 4, and there's runners on first and second with 1 away. It'll bring up Waters. Reached on an error in the 2nd inning. Singled and drove in a run and was cut down at the plate trying to score in the 3rd inning. Waters with that base hit in the 3rd inning extends his hitting streak to 11 games. He went hitless in the first 2 games of the season and now has hits in 11 straight since. Line drive caught, and they're going to get a double play as Medina was heading from 2nd to 3rd with the crack of the bat. A great play by the 2nd baseman Jaden Flores to spear the line drive by Waters and then double off Medina. So after 5 complete, it is the Saskatoon Berries 6, the Sylvan Lake Gulls 1, as the Berries do not score a run, no hits. There were no Sylvan Lake errors, 1 runner left on base. 6-1 Saskatoon leads Sylvan Lake after 5 innings. You're watching Berries baseball on FloCollege. Diego Quinones is back out for the top of the 6th inning, pitching for the Saskatoon Berries. This is his longest start as far as innings go. Quinones in his previous 2 outings didn't get a decision, both wins. Back on June 3rd, he pitched 3 innings in a 5-3 win over Fort McMurray, and then pitched 4 innings on June 10th in a 7-1 victory over Medicine Hat. Quinones, 5 complete, and now we'll get the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th hitters for the Sylvan Lake Gulls in the top of the 6th inning, with the Berries up 6-1. Simon Baker, the left fielder, first baseman Bryce Turner, and the designated hitter Brock Tiarina. Baker lifts a fly ball to left field. Freeman, coming over towards the foul line, will make the catch, and there's one away. First pitch swinging. Baker now 0 for 3 in the game. Struck out, bounced into a double play, and then flew out. Bryce Turner now coming up. He's 0 for 1. Walked in the 1st inning, grounded out to short in the 4th. Turner with 2 home runs and 9 runs batted in on the season, on a 4-game hitting streak, as he takes a first pitch strike from Diego Quinones. All quiet down the right field line in the Berries bullpen. Quinones hasn't hit 60 pitches yet. Very efficient. There's a line drive base hit, and Turner will extend his hitting streak to 5 games with that. So runner on first with 1 away for Sylvan Lake. It's their 4th hit of the night. They'll bring up the designated hitter Brock Tiarina. Well, then we got a pinch hitter here. Jimmy Pelche is coming on to hit for Tiarina. So Jimmy Pelche out of Montreal by way of the University of San Francisco. Right-handed hitter. Pelche hitting .200 in the season. 4 hits and 20 at-bats. He's driven in 3 runs. Inside to Pelche, 2-0. Jimmy Pelche. Pinch hitting, and I'd have to assume he'll stay as the designated hitter in place of Tiarina. 2-0 pitch is inside, 3-0 to Pelche. Bryce Hampton, the shortstop, on deck. And now we have Zach Laird warming up down the right field line for the Berries. Quinones, 3-0 count. In there for a strike on the inside corner. Pelche waits. Runner on first, Bryce Turner. 3-1 pitch upcoming from Quinones is inside, ball 4. So a walk now to move Turner up to second. And we have another pinch hitter coming up, as Joe Carnahan is coming out to chat with Diego Quinones. Rowan O'Connor is going to bat in place of Bryce Hampton. Right-handed hitting O'Connor. Meanwhile, the Berries gather around head coach Joe Carnahan. That was a short visit. Quinones is going to stay out. But back-to-back pinch hitters here in the top of the 6th inning as Sylvan Lake trying to get something going offensively. Rowan O'Connor hitting .292, 14 for 48, has a home run and 6 RBI on the year. He's replacing the shortstop, Bryce Hampton, with this at-bat. And O'Connor listed as an infielder, so we'll have to see who is into the ball game defensively now for the Gulls in the bottom half of the inning. First pitch inside from Quinones, ball one. That had O'Connor ducking out of the way. Quinones has thrown a few balls in a row here. A breaking pitch in for a strike, 1-1. Two men on, one runner, one batter out here for Sylvan Lake. In the top of the sixth inning, 6-1 Berries with the lead. Quinones delivers in there again, a breaking pitch for a strike, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Again, Zach Laird warming up down the right field line for the Berries. Coming off his senior year at Indiana State. Teammates of Carter Beck and Mason Rell. 1-2 delivery. Swung on and lined into right field. Slicing, fair ball. That'll get into the corner. In to score is Bryce Turner, turning third and coming home. And making it a 6-3 ball game is Jimmy Pelche, while Rowan O'Connor ends up on third with a triple. A 2-run triple for Rowan O'Connor, and that's going to be the night for Diego Quinones. Here comes Joe Carnahan out of the first base dugout. And we're going to have a pitching change for the Saskatoon Berries as Zach Laird will come on. Diego Quinones leaves to a nice applause from the crowd of 1,155 here at Next Gen Patch at Cairns Field as he puts forth his longest outing of the season, a pretty good 5 1/3 innings before being pulled, as that's 5 hits now for Sylvan Lake off of him. He's still responsible for the man on third. Quinones had just the 1 strikeout in the game. That was back in the first inning against Simon Baker. He walked 3 and hit a batter, did Quinones. He faced 23 batters. And unofficially, let's see here, 2, 7, 11, unofficially threw 66 pitches. Zach Laird is coming on. Make his 6th appearance in relief. He's thrown 6 1/3 innings, allowed just 3 hits, struck out 10, walked 2. Has a win to his credit, has yet to give up a run. Charged to him. So he's got the 0.00 earned run average coming into this. He's scheduled to face Cam McLeod, the catcher, and it is McLeod who is waiting on deck to face left-hand pitching Zach Laird. Laird from Langley, BC. To face McLeod, who's from North Vancouver. Wonder if they've seen each other before, either as teammates in the Lower Mainland in the Vancouver area or maybe against one another. Right hand hitting McLeod. Run around third with 1 away here as we resume play in the top of the 6th inning. First pitch swinging up the third base line. Coming home, Rell, and he's tagged out. Rowan O'Connor, contact play was on. He was coming home with the contact on the ball. And Mason Rell fields the ball and throws home to Balin Sorensen, who slaps on the tag for the second out. A fielder's choice. McLeod is on first. And it'll be Brooks Bachman, the third baseman, coming up now. Bachman has 2 singles on the night. A left-handed hitter has the leg guard come undone on his right leg, his front foot, and his batting stance. Brooks Bachman from San Diego. First pitch is on the outside corner, strike 1. Lead off of first for catcher Cam McLeod and the Sylvan Lake Gulls. Up high with a breaking pitch, 1-1. Still some milling about down the right field line with the Berries. 1-1 pitch. Bounced in outside. Good block by Sorensen, 2-1. Jaden Flores, the second baseman, is on deck. 6-3 now here in the top of the 6th inning. Gulls trailed 6-0 after 4, but have scored once in the 5th and 2 here in the 6th and are still at the plate as Bachman lines this one into center field. Beck thought about coming on, but lets it drop and takes it on the hop, and Bachman is 3 for 3 as McLeod moves up to second base. 2 away, Jaden Flores coming to bat. Flores popped out to second in the 2nd inning. Singled in the 5th. Facing Zach Laird for the first time. Flores, a Texan. Swings and fouls the first pitch right by the Berries dugout off the screen. First base side, strike 1. Game chugging along at a pretty good clip. Hour and a half in. Already in the bottom of the 6th inning. Nice night here in Saskatoon. Zach Laird looks back at the runner at second. Swing and a miss on a curveball, and it got away from Sorensen. Everybody's going to move up 90 feet. Bachman to second, McLeod to third. And we're recalling that wild pitch or pass ball. I think it's a wild pitch, to tell the truth. And we get confirmation. So 2 ducks on the pond for Jaden Flores here. Runners on second and third. 2 strikes the count on him, though. Laird would like to get him where he stands right now if he could. Fastball hit on the ground towards shortstop. Nathan Houston fields on to first. Not in time. Flores beats it out. Infield single. Run comes home. Cam McLeod. Bachman to third. And it's now 6-4. Good hustle down the line by Jaden Flores to beat the play. It wasn't a hard hit ball towards short. Houston fielded it cleanly and got the throw away, and Flores able to beat it out. So the inning continues, and now coming up for the first time is the right fielder Aiden Macaris, who took over in right field in the bottom of the 5th inning in place of Matty Fung. And Macaris, dangerous guy, and he hits a line drive into center field, base hit. Beck over to collect it, gets it back into the infield. 1 run scores, and the runner Flores is around to third. Bachman scores to make it 6-5 on a solid single, first pitch swinging off the bat of Aiden McCarris, who came in hitting .250. There wasn't one. So back to the top of the order, and the ninth man to hit in this inning for Sylvan Lake. Noah Konings, the center fielder, as McCarris drives in Bachman. 3 straight hits off of Zach Laird, and here comes Joe Carnahan out. As down the right field line, warming up, is Clay Mixon. And all the infielders and the catcher Sorensen will come in to join the meeting. And that's going to be it for Laird. He gets 1 out, and Clay Mixon's going to come into the game. Things look promising for Laird. He was able to get the first out on a fielder's choice. But then 3 singles in a row by Brooks Bachman, Jaden Flores, and Aiden McCarris, the 7, 8, and 9 hitters in the order, and a 4-run 6th inning, and it's a 1-run ball game now. The Berries in front 6-5. So Clay Mixon coming into the ball game to pitch for Saskatoon. This is his 5th appearance, all of them in relief. A win and a save for Clay Mixon. 5 2/3 innings pitched. He's allowed 3 hits, struck out 11 and walked 3. Has yet to give up a run, but so did Zach Laird not give up a run prior to this outing. And he's given up 2 and still responsible for 2 guys on base with 2 away. Mixon a bit of a sidewinder. He'll face Noah Konings, who's 0 for 3 tonight. As Sylvan Lake has found their bats here, scoring 4 times on 5 hits in this inning. Hits in the game are even between these teams at 8. Berries have the 1-run lead. And Mixon's job is to get a 3rd out and get the bats back going again. Well, let's see what we get. Clay Mixon to face Noah Konings here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Right-handed hitting Konings. That's why they took Laird out. He's a lefty. Now Mixon, the right-hander, in. First pitch, and the throw down to second. They're trying to get a play to get a run home, and they do. Now they've got McCarris hung up between first and second, and Menard will dive and tag him out. But the runner from third scores on the play as Sorensen threw to second base. And so a steal by Jaden Flores, and that ties the game up at 6-6. That is a 1-3-6-3 caught stealing on Aiden McCarris, but the Sylvan Lake Gulls don't care. They have come back to tie this game up at 6 apiece. 5 runs on 5 hits. No Berries errors and nobody left on base. Through 6 complete, or through 5.5, I should say. It's 6-6 between the Berries and the Sylvan Lake Gulls, as you're watching Berries baseball on FloCollege. So bottom of the 6th inning, and it's a new ball game. Tied up again, 6-6. 5 runs in the top of the 6th inning for the Sylvan Lake Gulls. And a 6-0 Barrie's lead is gone. Balin Sorensen, the catcher, number 8 hitter in the Barrie's lineup, up. Fouls the first pitch up. Catcher coming over to have a look, and that is just over top of the backstop and out of play. Sorensen 2 for 2 tonight. Single, drove in a run in the 2nd inning, and singled in the 3rd inning. Noah Bourgeois on for a 2nd inning in relief, as his pitch is down low, 1-1 to Sorensen. Bourgeois looking in. Sorensen line drive, and that is foul down the 3rd baseline. Hooked foul at the last second. Well tagged by the catcher. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Left fielder Jalen Freeman. First baseman Ethan Menard. Guaranteed to bat here in the bottom of the 6th inning. 1-2 pitch is hit in the air to right field. Pretty much right at the right fielder, and Aiden McCarris makes the catch. 1 away in the bottom of the 6th. Jalen Freeman walked in the 2nd inning, bounced back to the pitcher. Actually, he had a hot shot back to the pitcher. Off the glove, bounced. Pitcher able to whirl and come up with it off the hop, off the mound. Dylan Meitner back in the game at that point. Freeman hits this one in the air, and foul down the left field side, out of play. He's 0 for 1. 1 strike on Freeman. This is fouled back to the screen. 2 strikes now on Jalen Freeman. Ethan Menard, the on-deck hitter, coming over to retrieve the foul ball. Shocker here, Menard's jersey is dirty. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And he's not even catching tonight. 1-2 pitch to Freeman. Slow curves down low, 2-2. Freeman had to hold off. He was cocked and ready to swing there. Noah Bourgeois now in a pitcher of record situation as he throws that one upstairs, an off-speed pitch. Full count to Jalen Freeman, the Saskatoon Barries left fielder. Freeman came into the night hitting .280. This one's in the air down the left field line. Well tagged. Left fielder, though, has room and catches it in foul ground. So Simon Baker, it's a foul out to the left fielder. 2 away in the bottom of the 6th inning. And Ethan Menard now coming up. Menard homered his last time up, gave the Barries the 6-0 lead in the bottom of the 4th inning. Since then, the Gulls have rallied to tie it up at 6. Menard 1 for 3 with that home run, his first of the season, and his 8th unbatted in. Noah Bourgeois deals curveball high in the strike zone, strike 1. Ready to deal again. And that's in for a strike. Menard down 0-2. Barries with 2 away here in the bottom of the 6th. Foul tip, not caught. by catcher Cam McLeod, so Menard stays alive at 2 strikes. Sylvan Lake's a good team. They're 9-6. They're only a half game out of first place in the West Division, tied with Lethbridge and behind Okotoks. Hit in the air to center. Settling under it is the center fielder, Noah Konings, and that's that. 3 up, 3 down for the Berries in the bottom of the 6th inning. No response in the 6th inning for them. So after 6 innings complete, it is 6-6 as you're watching Berries baseball on FloCollege. Unofficial line score through 6 innings of play for the Saskatoon Berries: 6 runs on 8 hits, no errors, 5 runners left on base. And for the Sylvan Lake Gulls, they've scored 6 runs on 8 hits, they've committed 2 errors, and they left 3 runners on base. As we head to the top of the 7th inning, Clay Mixon, who got the 3rd out in the top of the 6th on a play in which it was a double steal executed by Sylvan Lake. And the runner going from first to second was eventually tagged out in a rundown. So Noah Konings, who faced the 1 pitch from Mixon last inning, comes back up and fouls the first one off here for a strike. So we've got a tie ball game here in the top of the 7th inning. Swing and a miss, Konings on an off-speed breaking pitch. Simon Baker, the left fielder, Bryce Turner, the first baseman, guaranteed to bat here in the top of the 7th. 0-2 pitch, bounce in front of the plate to the backstop, 1-2. Mixon's 1-2 delivery. Slow curve fouled back to the screen. Konings stays alive at 1-2. One-two pitch fouled off. Unable to hold the foul tip is Sorensen. Still 1 ball and 2 strikes. Second straight Stanley Cup win for the Florida Panthers on the out-of-town scoreboard as they beat the Edmonton Oilers in Game 6 tonight 5-1. Win the series in 6. One-two pitch again to Konings. Curved ball hit on the ground. Houston up with it at short. Throws on to first just in time. 1 away. It'll bring up the left fielder Simon Baker, who's 0 for 3 tonight. Baker 3 for 20 now in his last 5 games, including tonight. Bryce Turner, the first baseman, is on deck. This is the top of the Sylvan Lake order. First pitch swinging towards first. Menard can't handle it cleanly. That's into right field, into foul territory. Coming over to back him up is the second baseman. And that'll be an error on Ethan Menard, the first of the night, made by the Berries, and a runner on first. So Baker's on with one away. It'll bring up the first baseman, Bryce Turner. Turner singled and scored part of the 5-run sixth inning. He actually got things started with his single, as the first pitch from Mixon is down low and away, ball 1. Turner now on a 5-game hitting streak. He also walked in the first inning, so he's 1 for 2 tonight. In there for a strike from Mixon, 1-1. Jimmy Pelche, the designated hitter, is on deck, I believe. On deck player, a lot closer to the dugout than normal. He's hitting the air to right. Ethan Murdoch doesn't have to move very much, makes the catch. And there's 2 away as Baker returns to first base. So it is indeed Jimmy Pelche coming up for a second plate appearance. He walked and scored back in the 6th inning. And Pelche getting some advice from Bryce Turner as to what Clay Mixon's all about. What do you expect from this pitcher? The information always being relayed. 2 away here with a man on first for Sylvan Lake in the top of the 7th. First pitch swinging, strike 1. Rowan O'Connor is on deck. He's the shortstop now for Sylvan Lake after pinch hitting for Bryce Hampton last inning. Curveball in for a strike. Pelche couldn't pull the trigger. He started the swing and held up. Home plate umpire Phil McGee says, yeah, that's in there. So 2 strikes on Pelche. Mixon deals. Swing and a miss, strike 3. That's the end of the top of the 7th inning. Mixon gets his first strikeout of the appearance. No runs, no hits, 1 Berries error, 1 runner left on base. After 6.5 as we head to the 7th inning stretch here at the Next Gen Patch at Cairns Field. We're all tied up. Saskatoon Berries 6, Sylvan Lake Gulls 6 as you're watching Berries baseball on FloCollege. So back to the bottom of the 7th inning. Noah Bourgeois comes out for a 3rd inning as the second pitcher of the night for the Sylvan Lake Gulls. He's on in relief of the starter tonight for Sylvan Lake, Dylan Meitner. Bourgeois will face the 2-3-4 hitters in the Saskatoon order. Carter Beck to lead it off. He's 1 for 3, doubled and scored in the 3rd inning. Couple of groundouts otherwise. This will be Beck's first chance to look at Noah Bourgeois. First pitch up high by breaking pitch, 1-0. Bourgeois delivers. That's in there for a strike right at the knees, 1-1. Center fielder a little bit to the left field side of straightaway. Pretty much straightaway though. Beck hits this one in the air towards left field. Racing over, Simon Baker will make the catch right at the foul line. Short of the warning track, but Beck's retired, 1 away. Ethan Murdoch now coming up, 0 for 2. Hit by a pitch and scored a run back in the 3rd inning. Murdoch on a 3-game hit streak coming into tonight. Was 5 for 13 in that streak, 0 for 2 tonight. Bourgeois, been effective, throws a strike. Berries have to find a way to get to him now. Down low, ball 1. That was just low. Catcher McLeod held the glove there with the ball in it for a second for Phil McGee to consider. Home plate umpire says ball. 1-1, 1 out. Inside, 2-1. Mason Rell, the third baseman, on deck. Rell has been on base all 3 times tonight. 2-1. Up high, 3-1. Bourgeois shakes off a sign from catcher Cam McLeod. A 3-1 pitch. Fastball, down low, ball 4. Berries get a base runner with 1 away in the bottom of the 7th. Mason Rell coming to the plate. Rell doubled and scored in the 2nd inning. Singled, drove in a run and scored in the 3rd. Walked to lead off the 5th. 2 for 2. A good night going for Mason Rell. Like to improve upon it and get Murdoch closer to scoring, if not drive him in, period. Rell does have a home run this year, along with 11 runs batted in. First pitch just outside, ball 1. ABM Medina, the second baseman, on deck. Bullpens are quiet on both sides right now. One pitch hit on the ground, taken at 3rd. Throw to 2nd for 1, and then the transfer. Well, they're going to call him safe. He dropped the ball. Well, they're going to call him out, and then, which is the right play, it was the transfer of the ball from the glove to the throwing hand after the out was recorded at second base. So it's just a fielder's choice. And we're calling an error on the second baseman for allowing Mason Rell to be on base. 2 away now. And Abian Medina now takes a look at a first pitch strike from Noah Bourgeois. Medina 1 for 3, singled and scored in the 2nd inning. Rell with a big lead. Medina pops this one up into center field. Not many steps before making the catch out in center field for Noah Konings, and that's the end of the bottom of the 7th inning. Berries, no runs, no hits. There was 1 Sylvan Lake error and 1 runner left on base. So after 7, it is the Saskatoon Berries 6 and the Sylvan Lake Gulls 6 as you're watching Berries baseball on FloCollege.
Is this the next at bat now?
Yes.
It's off?
Yeah, you can take it off, yeah. Let's take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard in the Western Canadian Baseball League tonight. 4 other games besides ours. In the bottom of the 7th inning in Swift Current, the 57s lead Moose Jaw 2-1. Top of the 6th inning, Medicine Hat at home leads Brooks 6-1. Fort McMurray has a 6-2 lead in Okotoks in the bottom of the 5th. And now Energy City at Weyburn is delayed by rain. So dealing with the rain situation there. First pitch fouled off by the batter Rowan O'Connor against Clay Mixon to start the top of the 8th inning. O'Connor came on pinch hit in the 6th inning and tripled and drove in 2 runs. And now gets hit by a pitch. No, he got hit. No, that was off the catcher's glove. I thought that was off of him. But he was able to turn out of the way at the last second. So it's 1-1. They'll wait a second until the ball is retrieved from the backstop. Tossed over by catcher Cam McLeod, the on-deck hitter. O'Connor pops this one foul and just over the first base bleachers. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Clay Mixon on for a second full inning if he can get through. Down low, 2-2. Tie game here at Next Gen Patch at Cairns Field. Mixon's 2-2 pitch swung on and missed. Strike 3. That's his second strikeout of his relief appearance. Barry's had a 6-0 lead after 4 innings. Scored 2 in the 2nd, 3 in the 3rd, and 1 in the 4th. And then Sylvan Lake battled back with a single run in the 5th and then put up a 5 spot in the top of the 6th inning. And now here in the top of the 8th, we're still tied up at 6-6. Cam McLeod to hit. First pitch swinging, fouls it off towards the Sylvan Lake dugout. McLeod 0 for 3. Couple of fly ball outs and a fielder's choice. 0-1 pitch Mixon to McLeod, who hits it into left field. That one's going to get down. Freeman will cut it off before it gets to the wall and will hold McLeod to a long single. That was something else by Jalen Freeman to hustle over and backhand the ball and keep McLeod to a single. So a runner on first with 1 away. First hit allowed by Clay Mixon. It'll bring up Brooks Bachman, the third baseman, who's a perfect 3 for 3 tonight. Has scored runs in each of the 5th and 6th innings. Upstairs for a strike. Mixon throws kind of a herky-jerky 3/4, more sidearm type of a right-hand delivery. Curve ball in there for a strike. 2 strikes on Brooks Bachman. Jaden Flores, the second baseman, is on deck. One away here in the top of the 8th. Mixon deals on the ground towards second. Medina the second for 1. Back to first. In time, double play. Third one turned tonight by the Saskatoon Berries. That wasn't all that terribly hard hit, but Bachman coming down the line wasn't able to get there. And so no runs on 1 hit. There were no Saskatoon Berries errors and nobody left on base. So after 7.5 innings, it is the Saskatoon Berries 6 and the Sylvan Lake Gulls 6. As you're watching Berries baseball on FloCollege. No, it's bottom of the 8th.
Well, that's what I said. I hit strikeout twice. So I shouldn't have.
Shouldn't have, no.
You're live.
6, 7, and 8 hitters coming up for the Saskatoon Berries in the bottom of the 8th inning in a 6-6 tie. So Nathan Houston, Corey Waters, and Balin Sorensen to face Noah Bourgeois, who's pitched 3 shutout innings in relief for Sylvan Lake. Berries have not had a safe base hit since the Nathan Menard home run in the bottom of the 4th inning. Bourgeois has walked 3, hasn't struck anybody out, but he also hasn't allowed any runs. First pitch to Houston is down low, ball 1. Houston 0 for 1. Grounded out, drove in a run. Sacrifice fly, drove in a run. He also walked. Swing and a miss against Bourgeois' fastball up high in the zone, 1-1. Nathan Houston out of Melville, Saskatchewan would like to be the leadoff man getting on here in the bottom of the 8th. In the air, right center field, ball trying to get down, but coming over is the center fielder, Konings. He'll outrun the baseball, make the catch, and there's one away. So now the designated hitter, Corey Waters, who's 1 for 3, singled and drove in a run in the 3rd inning. He also reached on an error and lined into a double play. First pitch swinging, well hit, left center field, and it's up and away. Corey Waters with his 5th home run of the season puts the Berries back out in front, 7-6 here in the bottom of the 8th inning. The hometown kid comes through at a great time. Home run Waters to left center field, and it's 7-6. So now Balin Sorensen will come to the plate. That's a huge hit for Corey Waters, the designated hitter. Bourgeois, first pitch, check swing, appeal, they'll say strike. Excuse me, 1 strike on Balin Sorensen. 2 for 3 tonight. Has an RBI. That one down and away, ball 1, 1-1. Jalen Freeman, the left fielder, is on deck. It's one thing to be a designated hitter in the majors where you've got batting cages underneath the stands for yourself to warm up. DH here really doesn't have that luxury. You're sitting on the bench. You're not in the field. You're getting cold, waiting, and yet you come through like that. 1-2 pitch. Sorensen hits this one into left center field. That one's going to get down past the center fielder, cut off by the left fielder, throw into second base. Sorensen will get there, and that's his 8th double of the season. So Sorensen with a double. He's into second base. And now Jalen Freeman 0 for 2 tonight, as the Berries would like to tack on some insurance. We'll see if Freeman fouled out the left field his last time up. First pitch up high, ball 1. Berries hadn't gotten a hit off Noah Bourgeois, and now we get the coach coming out for Sylvan Lake to talk to Noah Bourgeois, and we've got action down the left field line. That looks like 37, the number, which would be Kai Rempel, if that is indeed the case. I can't tell if that's 37. It can't be 57. There's no 57 on the roster, so I'm pretty sure that that's number 37, Kai Rempel, who's warming up down the left field line for Sylvan Lake. Home plate umpire Phil McGee will come out to the mound and break up the meeting there. And Bourgeois is going to stay in the game. But as I was saying, Bourgeois had gone 3 innings without allowing a hit to the Berries, and now the home run by Waters and then a double by Sorensen, and suddenly the Berries have something going here with a 7-6 lead in the bottom of the 8th inning. And likely a new pitcher coming on for Saskatoon for the top of the 9th. Looking to be in a save situation. Sorensen at second. First pitch, or second pitch I should say, low and inside to Jalen Freeman, 2-0. 2-0 pitch on Freeman. Fastball popped up and out of play. Foul ball, 2-1. 10 hits on the night for the Berries. They've been averaging 12 hits a night since game 1 of the season. Up high and inside. Freeman ducks out of the way. 3 balls, 1 strike. And Bourgeois might be running out of gas here now. He's thrown 3 2/3 or 3 1/3 innings and been pretty effective until just the last couple of hitters. Hard to get down on him. He's kept the team in the game. On the ground towards first. Big hop over top of the first baseman into right field. Coming home to score is Balin Sorensen. There's a bad hop single and an RBI for Jalen Freeman. And the Berries are now up 8-6. That might have touched the lip of the infield grass and took off, kangaroo hopped over top of the first baseman for Sylvan Lake, Bryce Turner, and now we are going to get a pitching change as a result. So Freeman on first. The Berries now with their 8th run and their 11th hit of the night. And coming into the ball game to relieve, I'm pretty sure, is 37, Kai Rempel, and it is indeed Kai Rempel coming on. So Kai Rempel will come on in relief of Noah Bourgeois, 3rd pitcher of the night for Sylvan Lake. Rempel is making his 4th appearance of the year, all in relief. He has a win, a 7.20 earned run average, pitched 5 innings, allowed 5 hits, 5 runs, 4 earned, struck out 8 and walked 4. Right-handed pitcher, Kai Rempel out of Calgary, and attended college this past winter at Cloud County Community College. So a few Cloud County Community College guys on the Sylvan Lake Gulls. Noah Bourgeois being replaced by Kai Rempel, the catcher. Cam McLeod attended that. So Noah Konings in center field, also at Cloud County Community College. So 4 guys from that school, part of the Sylvan Lake Gulls roster. And Rempel now on to try and get a couple of more outs here and give the Sylvan Lake Gulls a chance to maybe come back a second time in this game and come out with something. But the Berries have an 8-6 lead now with 2 runs in the bottom of the 8th inning. Temperature now at 18 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Winds east at 6 kilometers per hour, so not a factor at all, the wind, as the sun starts to make its way down. And soon we'll have darkness, with the exception of the lights that'll keep us going here in this game. But Ethan Menard will face Kai Rempel. First man up is the Berries' first baseman, who's 1 for 4. His hit, a big one though, a home run back in the 4th inning. Rempel's first pitch is a strike. 3 straight hits for the Berries and 2 runs off of Noah Bourgeois. Low and away, ball 1. Catcher lets it go, and is able to recover. Freeman thought about taking off, but holds his ground at first base. Rempel ready to deliver. 1-1 pitch. And now steps off and blocks. He actually came forward while in his set and then stepped back off. Once you move forward from the set position, you have to go home. And he didn't do that. He stepped backwards off, and that's a balk ball. So Freeman advances to second base. And that one's outside to Ethan Menard. And now 3-1 is the count on the Barries' first baseman. Hitters count here with one away. Kai Rempel delivers. Fastball is outside. Now it's 3-1. The balk does not count as a pitch. So 3 balls and 1 strike now on Ethan Menard. Freeman at second. Menard at the plate. 2 runs in here in the bottom of the 8th, and 8-6 Barries lead. Menard on the ground towards short, taking off 2 hops, and the throw on to first base in time. And Freeman holds his ground at second as there's 2 away. Nice defensive play by Rowan O'Connor, who came into the game in place of Bryce Hampton in the 6th inning. So now Carter Beck up for a 5th time, 1 for 4, doubled and scored in the 3rd inning, and gets a shot at Kai Rempel here in the bottom of the 8th. Another insurance run out there at second base. First pitch swinging is fouled off, strike 1. Down the right field line, Carson Obrecht has been on the pitcher's mound down the bullpen area, and he may be coming in the 9th inning. We'll have to wait and see what Joe Carnahan and Ryan Olcheway, the pitching coach, decide. On the inside corner, strike 2 to Carter Beck. Rempel shakes off a sign. Now is ready. A 2-strike pitch to Carter Beck upcoming. Freeman dancing around at second, distracting him, and that pitch is down low, ball 1. Jalen Freeman's got good speed. 6 stolen bases already this year. Barries as a team with 42 steals. Second most in the WCBL behind Okotoks. 1-2 pitch is chopped on the ground towards third. Picked up and thrown on, and not in time, or in time I should say. That was a Brooks Bachman throw that nips Carter Beck at the bag at first base. 3rd out, and that's the end of the 8th inning. 2 runs for the Barries on 3 hits. There were no errors by the Sylvan Lake Gulls, and 1 runner left on base. So after 8, we head to the top of the 9th. Clay Mixon's coming back out for the top of the 9th inning for the Barries to pitch. It is 8-6 Saskatoon with the lead. You're watching Barries baseball on FloCollege. So top of the ninth inning. Last chance for the Sylvan Lake Gulls, down 2 now at 8-6 to the Saskatoon Berries. And it'll be the number 8 hitter, Jaden Flores, who is 2 for 3 tonight, singled in the 5th, and then singled and scored when he stole home on a double steal back in the 6th inning. Clay Mixon on to face him. First pitch is a strike. Mixon came on to face the top of the order in the top of the 6th inning with 2 outs. And on his first pitch, the double steal was executed. Now Mixon inside hits Flores with the pitch, and he'll get first base. Second time that the Berries pitching staff has hit a Sylvan Lake batter tonight. And now Aiden Macaris coming up. Macaris singled, pinch hitting for Matty Fung back in the 6th inning. So now this is the tying run at the plate. And Macaris on the ground. Rell will look the runner back to second. Throws across the diamond and in time for the second out. So now, 1 out left to play with for the Sylvan Lake Gulls. It'll be the left fielder Simon Baker, who, like Koenigs, came into this inning 0 for 4, a strikeout, grounded into a double play, flew out and reached on an error to Ethan Menard back his last time up in the 7th inning. Baker facing Mixon for the second time. First pitch outside, ball 1. Down the right field line, warming up for the Berries, is Tanner Hosick. Baker does represent the tying run here if he can jerk one out of the yard. One pitch, fouled off, 1-2. So 1. One and two the count, 2 away. Runner on second for Sylvan Lake here in the top of the 9th. Clay Mixon delivers, swung on and missed, strike 3, and that's the ball game. Clay Mixon, 3 1/3 innings of relief to get the victory, as the Berries had a 6-0 lead, had Sylvan Lake come back to tie it up, but then in the bottom of the 8th, the solo home run by Corey Waters, and a double by Balin Sorensen, a single by Jalen Freeman, giving the Berries the 2 runs that they needed to come away victorious tonight by a final score of 8-6. 9 straight wins at Cairns Field for the Berries to start this season in 2025. Their record is 14-2, and for the second time this year, the Saskatoon Berries have a record of, or have won 7 straight games. Second time they've won 7 straight. 14-2 for the year now. 8-6 the final. Berries over Sylvan Lake. We'll come back in a moment with the final totals from this one and wrap things up as you're watching Berries baseball on FloCollege. So back to wrap things up from Next Gen Patch at Cairns Field. A 2-run 8th inning gives the Saskatoon Berries an 8-6 win over the Sylvan Lake Gulls in the first game of a 2-game mini-series, as it's the Gulls' turn this year to visit Saskatoon after the Berries were in Alberta near Red Deer last year, midway through the month of July. The final totals, unofficially our line score, for the Berries, 8 runs on 11 hits. They committed 1 error, and they left 7 runners on base. I believe it's 7 runners left. Yes, it is. For the Sylvan Lake Gulls, 6 runs on 9 hits. They committed 2 errors. They left 5 runners on base. Winning pitcher in relief is Clay Mixon. Clay Mixon pitched 3 1/3 innings to finish off the night. He's got his second win in relief. And the losing pitcher on the Sylvan Lake side, and a bit of hard luck for Noah Bourgeois, who I thought pitched pretty well in relief, but he takes the loss. His record is 1-1. Good night at the plate for a couple of the Berries. Mason Rell had a couple of RBI. He was 2 for 3. Corey Waters, of course, with the big hit, a home run in the 8th inning to get the Berries back in front. He was 2 for 4 tonight. Ethan Menard hit a home run, 1 for 5. On the other side for Sylvan Lake, Brooks Backman was 3 for 4 and scored twice. Jaden Flores was 2 for 3 and scored a run and had a stolen base. Berries win it by a final score of 8-6 in front of 1,155 fans here at Next Gen Patch at Cairns Field in a game that took 2 hours and 25 minutes to play. So the next outing here is tomorrow night. These same 2 teams will play at 7 o'clock at Next Gen Patch at Cairns Field. The Berries and the Sylvan Lake Gulls. We'll have it for you here on FloCollege. So once again, on behalf of all the folks involved with Flow Sports, FloCollege, and